What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Haha, hooray!
This week we are talking about a movie that we were told to watch. That's
we
why
were
we're talking
forced
about
to
it.
watch.
Yeah, and we didn't. I didn't want to go to a theater yet, so then to see Top Gun. So this is what we get. We are talking about the Emoji Movie, courtesy of Tim, who won our
March Madness?
Yeah. No, this was the NFL Survivor pool.
Oh, wow. So, right. This is a long... Right, we did immediately the Ghost Rider ask.
December.
Yes, exactly. So we were talking about the Emoji Movie this week. Very exciting. I don't know. It's kind of like related to stuff. It's kind of related to Chip and Dale. It's another one of those. We'll get to it. But before that, this week, how is everybody doing? DJ Diggins, how are you guys? How's it going?
I think it's going great.
Wow.
Well, you know, Nando, it wasn't going so great, but then I got the best news, the most magical news.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Diggins, do you want to break the news to DJ, who has not heard it yet?
Apparently, I don't know what's going on.
I feel like he may have, and he just hasn't gotten any of our vague illusions so far, because that's a very DJ move.
I mean, it was
yeah.
one of the first newses that I've heard in the real world, and I'm like, oh, we have to talk about that on the pod. That is,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you see, there was a conversation I was having with a friend of mine not that long ago that went along the lines of, do you think a big famous company is going to make the mistake of thinking all of these memes that are happening now are genuine enthusiasm? And my friend was like, I don't think so. They won't be that stupid. And my friends, it turns out they are that stupid because Sony is bringing Morbius back to theaters, baby.
Yeah.
I
it'll
did
be
not
in
hear this.
Over 1,000 theaters starting Friday, June 3rd. So today, the month of Morbius is also June. It was May before, but now it's June. It was April.
I have questions because I had not heard this. This is news to me on the pod. I did not hear this. All right, so some questions.
Yep.
Question one: did they say how long? Like, is it a weekend? Is it?
I imagine it's up for, if it performs well, it will
Which
stay
it won't.
around. And which it won't.
So, but yeah, performs well. So this is weird, right? Because it's not like, I don't know, I guess results may vary, but I didn't feel like there was a big recent, like, mega COVID outbreak that was keeping people from seeing Morbius in theaters. I feel it was just like hey, this is bad. Like, why would you go see this? Do we really think that the memes is what brought this back? Like, the morb? Like, we're actually gonna morb now.
I mean,
It's
that has to
Morbid
be what
time.
brought it back,
Because
right? Otherwise,
so
what
many
brought
people,
it back?
So many people were beginning to morb.
Yeah, I think I think it was, I want to credit this person correctly, because I ain't no South African emerald mine magnate. But I think it was Jack Saint, another YouTuber, who said this is the first time a movie has gotten catfished. That's what it is. Morbius is gonna show up at theaters and nobody's gonna be there. I mean, listen, it's Sony, so they don't, but maybe they know something. You know, what if this is the next big thing?
There's no way. Also, because I feel like when, I could be misremembering, but when Morbius was originally in theaters, it wasn't up against much. But now it's up against, like, you can't release it, like, while Top Gun's in theaters. Everyone loves Top Gun. It just seems like awful timing, I feel
and
like.
the Jurassic Park
DJ
movie next week.
How many popular memes have there been about Top Gun or Jurassic Park? Very few,
That's
I think.
True.
Whereas
true.
Morbin is the new sensation that's sweeping the nation, which is going to sweep all those Morbin stands right into the movie theaters to watch their favorite hero, Jared Leto.
This is so weird to me. I want to, like, know the particulars of how this happened, because, like, is this like unprecedented except for when an Infinity War wants to be like, no, we want the most views ever. Like, I feel like this, like, doesn't happen.
Yeah, not usually. I would say, it's usually something like that when they go like, oh, if we do this, then we can technically beat these other ones. Like, I think movie companies usually just look at the numbers and go like, we can technically make more money than we would lose if we have people come into the theaters and see the movie again. But
it's also already available on DVD. I got it for my mom for Mother's Day. We were the best Mother's Day present.
Yeah, of
Matt
course.
Smith dancing shirtless.
Obviously, she loved it. She was like, "This is the greatest Mother's Day gift you've ever gotten for me. I love you now, son."
The thing that I think
it's true.
I think they could. Here's the thing. I think if they let someone like me, gave me all the footage and let me cut together the craziest version of Morbius with all the robot arms and more dancing and all that shit, I think it could turn into something that is at least interesting to watch in theaters drunk and stuff. But
we could have the next
just
Cats on our hands.
Right, or like, yeah, The Room or one of those where you just go and everybody yells at the theater and stuff. Because I can't imagine this like rowdy screening would be anything but like a Pickle Rick kind of people screaming like more all the whole time. There's nothing to it.
I want to do that now, though. Don't threaten me with a good time. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, more the whole time.
I feel like in our podcast about Morbius, all three of us kind of talked about how the movie's actually just not very interesting. Like, we all kind of wished it was worse.
Right.
Like, if you go to see it for a joke, you'll just be like, well, this is just boring.
Yeah,
you'd have to shout more. Yeah, let's say Nando said you'd have to shout more the entire time to get any value from it.
Like,
which
if the
sucks.
Scene where Matt Smith dances was like a full 2 minutes long, then that'd be fun. Like, there's just like stuff like that I feel like was probably cut out of the movie because they wanted a very short movie because they wanted to put it in theaters more. Morb. And then it didn't work, and then they just got rid of it. And I mean, Sony must have known this movie was bad, and they, were playing the odds. But with this, I'm like, what did they like? I don't know. Just did they just have money to burn?
I mean, what is the more cost to them to put it out?
I mean, I think it costs money to reserve the
take out theater space. Yeah.
Otherwise, why wouldn't all of the companies do it all the time?
I mean, I guess I assume that just like 3 companies owned movies and they're just cycling their own movies. I guess Sony, because they're not competing with
that's
themselves,
very
they're
true.
fine.
But yeah, I feel like Marvel, like it's not like Marvel where I think or Disney or one of those where it's like, oh, this one's not performing, but this one is performing. So we're gonna give, like, we're going to give the theaters that we were going to give to Marvel movie 1 to Star Wars movie 1 because that's just more, like, lucrative. It's just, like, I assume buying new screens. I mean, people aren't going to movie theaters that much now anyway, so they're probably on the cheap. But still, like,
Although, like, there is Top Gun Maverick did super well.
It did too well, which is fucking my predictions up big time. Not good for me.
Yeah.
We need that not Maverick Halo crossover. So, yeah, that's Morbin for you. Any other Morbin thoughts?
I just have one last thought. How much do you guys actually think that like people within Sony's sphere of influence are like paying attention to the Morb memes? Because my assumption would have been like 0.
I remember when they put out a trailer or when they put out like a video about like some tweet with like a little video. I remember seeing them say "It's time." That was the tweet with like some gif of Morbius, and I was like, "Oh, did they get it? Or like, are they in on this Morbin time thing too?" And I'm sure they just got a lot of engagement from that and went with it.
Odd.
I feel like it's less that they are tracking the meme and more that they track social engagement broadly. And so they're seeing Morbius has tons of engagement lately. They're like, wow, the people love Morbius. We got to capitalize on this and re-release it. And there's maybe one person in that boardroom who was desperately arguing like, no, guys, it's an ironic meme. People are making fun of it. Nobody's going to go see it. But they just got drowned out.
They got fired. They're like, get out of here, Jeff.
It's a shame. Because I mean, it's not a shame, I guess, because we'll talk about it. But because is this a Sony movie as well?
It
Emoji Movie. Speaking of Sony movies, so like they don't know what they're doing. It's not like they could be spending their time better elsewhere. So might as well put out Morbius again. See if that works. So yeah, let's talk about the Emoji Movie.
Let's talk about
it. It came out in 2017, 5 years ago.
That feels impossible. This
I know, right?
It came out 17 years ago. Like, there's no way.
Going
it
by
was-
some of its jokes and references, this movie came out 100 years ago.
Right?
Perhaps. It was directed by someone named Tony Leondis. Yeah, that sounds right. Who directed Igor, Lilo and Stitch 2, Kung
Stitch
Fu
has a
Panda,
glitch?
Secrets of... Stitch has a glitch, that's right. Kung
Oh.
Fu Panda 2, Secrets of the Masters, which is some sort of video short. So that guy's working on it. So that's how you know it's in good hands.
That's
yeah.
where I think that's where the meme of Oogway from that series going up and going, monkey is from.
And this guy's already, he's got so much great stuff. Now we've got an IMDb summary for you guys. What we do is every week, deep in the bowels of the internet there's a little square, a boring, a very, very ugly designed square, and within it are a bunch of letters running around, bumping into each other. And every so often, one of the letters goes summary, and then they all get in a line, and then whatever the line is the IMDb summary for a specific movie. Sometimes it fits the movie, but sometimes there's a certain non-conforming letter that makes the summary make no sense. So that happens more than you'd expect. This summary for the Emoji Movie, I will say, for DJ and Diggins is on the shorter side. That's all I got.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, who starts this week?
I have the honors, I think, of
Okay.
being the greatest loser of all time. So before I get started, I just have a question, Nando. How are you and Diggins gonna rob me of my victory this week? Because this is what's felt like a month-long streak of just hey, let's see how we could screw up DJ this week.
It's a good point. I don't know. We'll figure it out on the fly. We usually kind of, run with this.
It's like jazz. We improvise. It's more about the ways we don't screw you.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. So DJ, would you like to go first or second?
I want to go first. I want to stake my claim.
Okay.
That way,
Let's hear it.
at least I can. I don't know. I'm getting screwed anyway, so it doesn't matter. But all right, let's go for it. All right. Oh my God. In Messageopolis, the Meh emoji Gene must leave on an adventure to find his true calling.
Okay, Diggins.
All right. I don't think it's in this summary, but I'm going to say the correct name of the place in mine just to hopefully get points of it over DJ. Gene, a Meh emoji living in Textopolis, must go on a journey to figure out how to fulfill his role when he... hold on, I'm going to start this over.
That's a point penalty. I don't know. It's a something.
Gene, an emoji in Textopolis who can display several different emotions, is shunned by his peers and must go on a journey to save them all from imminent destruction.
Okay. DJ, I'm going to give it to Diggins.
Oh my! This is awful. Why play the game anymore?
Is it because I said?
Point?
Is it because I said
why bother?
Textopolis?
It's not because you said Textopolis. That was not part of it. I would say Diggins' original one seemed to be on the right track in terms of that was going to be probably a tiebreaker. But it was close enough that I think Diggins probably had it. But then
it's cool that Diggins got 2 shots at it though. That's super fair and cool. And
then the change helped. I don't know what to say.
awesome.
I don't know what to tell you. It's like checkers or chess. If you don't take your finger off the piece, you can keep moving it. Here's what the actual summary is.
I'm disgusted.
Gene, a multi-expressional emoji, sets out on a journey to become a normal emoji. So Diggins obviously had Gene. He had the multi-expressional thing.
I had Gene.
Yeah, he had the multi-expressional thing.
He did not say that. He did not say that. He said
an
emoji with multiple expressions or whatever.
Well, yeah, but you didn't even allude to that.
Yeah, you didn't put that in. And then Diggins also called it... Diggins also called it a journey, whereas you called it, I think, an adventure.
Oh my God. This is crazy. Also, I referred to him as the Meh emoji, which was correct.
Yeah, but that wasn't in there. I'm sorry to
This is
tell
so
you.
dumb.
It's funny
Listen.
because if you hadn't gone for if you had tied or something like that,
The tiebreaker would have been name the town that he lives in.
Well, I don't know about that. But
this is insanity to me. This is pure insanity. It was a tie at best, and Diggins got multiple tries, so I should have gotten it by default.
DJ, listen, I think, as you've pointed out, your designated role in society is to be the person who loses the IMDb B as in spelling bee.
That's true.
If there's anything I've learned today, it's that you should never, ever deviate from your assigned role in society. You can be a little creative about how you fulfill that role, but you cannot abandon it or do anything besides that role.
I will say, my tiebreaker would have been this, in case you want to do it. Let's do it for fun. There is an amazing bit of trivia. Excuse me. There's an amazing bit of trivia about this movie. I don't know if you've heard it. It was the first movie to play in Saudi Arabia in 35 years.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Really?
Yeah, they lifted a ban on movie theaters, and it was the first movie publicly shown. It was a double feature, actually, with Captain Underpants 1. So I haven't seen that, but that can't be worse than this.
I have seen it, and it's not.
So how about this? This is something. This would have been my tiebreaker. This is on the trivia as well. It holds the record for the shortest Rotten Tomatoes critics consensus. Shortest. Yep. Like in terms of brief, least words and letters and stuff.
Oh, like in terms of how many words was the review?
Yeah, the critics consensus is they take all the take all the critics and write a little thing. Oh, okay. Black Widow had lots of fun and laughs and for the whole family, whatever. Okay. Anybody want to take a guess at what it was or currently is? I'm looking at it now.
So I would have won this tiebreaker anyway.
Oh my god, this is just horse hockey.
What is it, Dickens?
It's that circle with a slash through it emoji.
Yeah, it is just the no emoji, which is not as fun as the poop emoji, which is what it probably should have been. But it is the no emoji. Yeah, so that's a double victory for Diggins. Diggins, congratulations. What would you like to say about the Emoji Movie? What are your thoughts on this fine movie?
I mean, I have some issues with what you just said and the title of this. Because it's not a movie. It's an hour and a half long commercial.
What?
That's it. It's not even worth discussing as a film. It's a commercial for several different apps and the idea of an Animoji, which came out shortly after this movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So there's nothing else going on here. I guess there's technically a story, but it's bad and extremely derivative. Nothing in it's funny. Nothing in it is entertaining. It is both too simple for adults and too complex for children. Literally, there's this movie's for nobody. It's for nobody. It's stupid and unfunny and boring, and I regret that we spent time watching it.
Wow, incredible. DJ, what about you? What did you think of the Emoji Movie, an adventure beyond words?
I want to just expand on all of Diggins' points, and so I don't want to discuss the movie because everything Diggins said is absolutely correct. What I think the existence of this movie is proof of, besides corporate greed, it's like a device by which our fans can torture us. And they did it. They did it so well.
And you know what? I commend them.
Yeah. Like I said, specifically, one fan named Tim. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Or wait, I'm not sure if his name is Tim. It might be something else. It might. I think his name is
Cade.
It is Cade. Currently, his Twitter thing has the word Tim in it, and I just assume those, but it's not. You're right, it's Cade. So sorry, Cade, but here you go. Now we fixed it.
Well, so beyond the fact that Cade chose it, we put it on the poll, and it won with 43% or something like that.
Oh.
So it's not beyond the obligation of us having to do it. Our fans wanted us to do it, so I assume they wanted us to suffer. I have to assume that most people who voted on this did not see it. Do we even know if Cade saw it? Or if he was just this will be amazing.
I believe, let me open up the message. I believe Cade said they had seen it. Yeah, I think they did see it in theaters for a 16th birthday as a joke. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, so then to your point, like, this movie's for no one tickets. I would amend that to it's for corporate executives and people who love prank wars. Like, that's who this movie is for. It might be the worst movie we've ever done. It's...
I don't know.
I
You've done
don't
some
know
real
either.
stinkers.
like,
Yeah.
this is awful. I mean, it's a billion times worse than Space Jam, and it's not even close in my opinion.
It's very bad, but the thing is, there's other movies that are bad and also make me mad. This movie does not make me angry.
That's true.
It's just
Well,
bad.
it doesn't have the capacity to make you feel. It's the meh emoji. They knew when they were creating it what they were doing. So yeah, I don't have much more to say besides our wheel of specific nitpicks. But yeah, I'll pass it over to Nando.
Yeah, I kind of knew this movie would be bad because I had heard it would be bad.
We've been dodging it for a minute too.
And I mean, it's bad. It's very bad. It reminds me, the one thing that it reminded me of this movie was from 2017. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure this script was rushed into production the minute someone came up with this great idea. Now, I don't know.
Yes, that is literally true.
Is the concept of an emoji something that's copywritten? Or could anyone make a movie about the emojis? Are they like a public domain thing?
I believe they did have to get the rights to...
From who?
So
a phone?
you can't... So the thing is, you can't copyright the concept of, like, emoticons, but I think
right.
emoji, like that word, is maybe copyrighted.
That makes sense. So, yeah, it seems like they just made this movie, like they were just like, oh, let's make this movie, and they started making it. It reminds me of there was a Saturday Night Live sketch, like one of those video sketches from like a while ago. Not like too long. I think probably before this came out.
Oh, no, I'm wrong. Nobody owns the name emoji.
Okay.
But images, so the specific emoji images are copyrighted.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe the ones that they look like, they had to license them from or get the permissions from whichever company's emojis they were using.
Yeah, it is weird how there's different emojis. Well, there's different versions of the same emojis depending on what phone you're on.
Yeah,
like
like Apples are different from Androids.
Yeah.
And
even like Twitter
also has
is
their
different
own.
from them. Like
Yeah.
you put one on there and it's like, that's what that one is? It's like, yeah, I guess that's what their ghost is. But okay, so there was a sketch on Saturday Night Live that was called The Group Hopper, and it was like a parody of those Maze Runner movies and like Divergent, where it's all this shit, and like this is maybe one of the purest forms of it, where it's like you're born into the non-specials, but you are a special, and you cannot hop the groups, and the society doesn't want you to. It makes you conform, and it's that. But like this is it distilled to its purest form, almost like that sketch, and it's horrible. It's a bad movie, and it's a bad concept. I want to say it has a bad message necessarily, but I also think as far as messages go, if you were a kid watching this trying to pick out a message from it, it's really hard. Because this movie is, we'll get to it. It's a bunch of movies, but the big one I'd say, I mean one of them, but one of the big ones is Inside Out. And like,
yes,
Inside Out has the idea of like, they are the personifications of sadness, and they kind of are those things, but they also like don't have jobs and like houses and like lives to go back to. So like the idea that there is like this meh family that is always meh, but also has, like a house and goes to dinner. And like, I don't think this works like some of those other little movies where it's like, oh, you were born into the clan of Gryffindors or whatever, but you're actually a Hufflepuff. Like, because the core metaphor doesn't make any sense.
like
also,
I'm sure we will be discussing at length.
Yes. Also, it has two of the most annoying people in it, being
and
at
like,
their most annoying.
Not just in it, like all of the movie
as the main ones. So that's really tough. So already aged pretty poorly. And I think by the time this came out, we had already turned on James Corden as a society. And this is probably right before T.J. Miller, because T.J. Miller, I believe, this movie came out in 2017. I think his big meltdown was in 2018, which is why he was removed from a lot of the marketing of Ready Player One. So he was already on the way out.
The allegations regarding T.J. Miller came out a few months after this movie.
I'm thinking of the time he like called a bomb threat on some woman on a train or something, right? Remember that?
I actually forgot about that. Holy shit!
That's what I'm thinking of specifically. He was on a train. He was harassing some woman who probably like wouldn't go on a date with him or whatever, and then he called in a bomb threat on her, and then that's when he like. I want to say, I'm sure the allegations were out there, but that was the time I think that things kind of turned for him, and probably that gave the allegations of more, like more volume. But anyway, yeah, he stinks. So it's bad that he's in this.
It kind of feels like the casting director was intentionally sabotaging the movie.
Maybe, yeah.
Good for them if that was the case.
Yeah, they did a heck of a job. I have a wheel. It's got some great stuff on it. Perhaps
cheese emoji.
Yeah,
the cheese wheel emoji.
We'll get to it. Well, you know what? Let's start with this. I'm gonna spin the wheel and land it on the first cheese. It's cheese number 3. Well, look at the odds. This is the question that I think was important to ask right off the bat. Is what is an emoji?
That's a great question.
As they exist in this world, what are they?
So it seems like they're beings inside our phones, that they're like sentient beings that produce the emojis that we type into our like text message app. That's the best I can do.
Yeah.
Do the letters exist in this same state?
They're old, apparently.
Well, emoticons do.
Yeah,
so...
I'm talking about like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, did they all have to stand there like Hollywood squares, like the emojis, and just get constantly photographed making the A face whenever he wants to type the letter A? Because it's just such a clunky metaphor and like an insane way to do this.
Oh man, I feel really bad for N and P then.
Why is that?
Because they have to constantly be next to someone making an O face.
Oh, very good.
You
very
sick
good.
Motherfucker.
Maybe they're into that, Man, I don't trust P in general. He seems like a, I don't know, rough customer.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
sick fuck.
He might be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like any of that. I feel like the MNOP, LMNOP as a little group of letters. LMN, love them, great letters. O, like you're saying, a weirdo, and then P, I think is also a weirdo. And then you get into the darker corner of the alphabet. Q, who likes Q?
Yeah.
We could write this down. This could be
many people love Q.
The alphabet.
Many people believe that Q is incredibly knowledgeable and knows lots of things about the government.
That's true. I feel like at a certain bar in this movie, I'm surprised we didn't find Q.
If this movie was written later,
yeah,
mayhaps.
There would have been a whole app of like the red pill app or something that they would have gone into.
God.
Yeah,
somebody would have had Q level clearance.
Yeah. So the idea. Okay, so they live in the phone.
Yeah.
They stand there whenever the kid is typing.
But they also can go home. Like, they have their own lives. I assume there are multiple of a kind of emoji.
That's one of the parts that really confused me.
I mean,
the
don't
emoji
see...
has a son.
Other than the poop emoji and his son and the meh family, we only see one copy of every emoji.
Yeah. Well, there's also, like, you know how, like, there's, like, different skin color emojis?
Yes.
I feel like that's kind of represented here. Every so often you'll see different skin color versions of them, but like, can they all just change their skin color at will?
Or
like Rachel
emojis.
Dolezal, or a different specifically. and then like, why does he even have the black fist emoji? Listen, Connor, whatever your name is,
Alex,
you shouldn't be using that emoji. Yeah, Alex, there you go.
Yeah, it's problematic. Very problematic of you, Alex.
Very
this
problematic.
Whole movie's canceled.
I'm ready to cancel Alex. #. Yeah, he That's one of the things that I think this movie really fucks up. Part of it. I mean, this movie is bad in a lot of ways. But the reason that this is like, it's like Emoji Movie, right? Because it's like, oh, they're different emotions. They all exist within a person. This one, they all exist within a phone. But in that movie, they like seem to know what's going on with the person, Like they're like,
yeah.
Oh, what's her name? Riley. I don't want her to get in trouble. Oh, this is bad for her. With these guys, they have no idea what's going on with this kid.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And,
so that's bad.
and it's so okay. So what we learn later in the movie is that they're not like Wreck-It Ralph, where they exist outside of the confines of their machines and are just like people who go into the game whenever it's being played, wherever that is, right?
Right.
Right.
But in this one, all of these emojis specifically live on this phone, have always lived on this phone, and if this phone is wiped, they will die.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So, like what? They've lived for the past 3 years or so, and in maybe 2 years, they'll all die? Is that the idea?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then how do they also, like, have families and children and seem to be... Some of them seem to be older than the kid who owns them.
That's true. I mean, we don't
We
know
don't know
what the
how
life
time
cycle
goes.
of an emoji
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it might
Yeah,
be
do
short.
them
It might be
a
like
fruit
flies.
fly. They're just churning through. Also, what happens when the phone is turned off?
Good question. I think they all die. Or like, they all just cease to exist for a couple of hours.
Yeah, or is it like a severance situation? Like, let's just
Yeah.
say let's say I turn my phone off for like 3 years or whatever, and then I turn it back on. Is it like, are they all like, oh?
Yeah, I
We're
think
awake.
I think it's a severance situation. I don't think they notice the difference. Although,
So Diggins, one day they would just die because the phone wouldn't turn on.
yeah. Diggins also has two sub-wheel cheeses here that I wanted to get to. I think this is Diggins. One of you brought up the question of female emojis. Let's talk about that.
That's me.
Jay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what's the story with that?
Okay, so the point I wanted to make regards Jailbreak the hacker, but I'll wait to get there.
Oh,
Again,
so-
just perilously close to an awful name. I mean, it's a bad name, but it's perilously close to like a morally bad name.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so there are female emojis, right? And Jean, who's our main meh emoji, is like part of an emoji family where there's like the dad meh emoji and the mom meh emoji.
Correct.
But there's also like these one-off female emojis, like the head lady smile emoji. She's just like a lady, and
Correct.
we have no idea how this is. So my first question is, and then we have the dancer lady emoji, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we have the princesses, right? So for like the emojis, how do they reproduce? Like,
Sex.
how's
I think they sex it up, yeah.
okay, gross. Not like that sex is gross, but like how did Mama Meh and Papa
You are
Meh-
on record as thinking kissing is vile and disgusting. So if you thought sex was gross,
true.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I guess that
That's
would be
true.
on brand for me.
Although I guess
So,
I would question how you're going to have a child.
That's
Well,
true.
I would say one of the things, speaking of gross, that came up in this movie, I don't know if you guys remember this, if this stuck out to you. Remember when the kid's phone is playing Candy Crush against his will? And when
yeah.
it screams at him, screams at the whole class. A certain word,
It's like juicy,
delicious,
Or
I think is the word. Yeah.
delicious,
And everyone goes, ew, weirdo. And I'm like, yeah, shame that weirdo. That's how you're supposed to react to that, kids. Good for you.
You know, the thing is, they're not shaming him for saying delicious. They're shaming him for still playing Candy Crush.
Yeah. Or ever playing Candy Crush. Like what 12-year-old played Candy Crush? That's for
my
moms.
My dad plays fucking Candy Crush. Like,
Yeah.
out of here with that.
But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the female emojis. Okay, this is kind of part of my blind spot here. I don't know much about emojis generally. I don't use them. Can you get a female smile emoji?
Yes. Well, like it's like the female person emoji, I guess.
Right. But
The like face emojis. No, there's just one type of them, and they're like designed to be pretty much gender neutral.
Right, so she is gender specific just cause. Maybe
Yeah.
she has like a husband at home that's a smile emoji and stuff, and they have a little baby smile.
Well, listen,
Aw.
if we didn't have emojis that are women and we did have emojis that are children, then kids might start questioning and start thinking that maybe these emojis are gay, and we can't have that. We have to have strictly enforced heterosexuality amongst these emojis.
It is a
I
confusing...
mean, yeah, there was no pride flag or anything whatsoever. Like,
That's true, yeah. Well, I mean, this, like we said, this movie had just screened in Saudi Arabia, so they had to be pretty tight with which emojis they used and did not use. I'm surprised we didn't see the gun emoji somewhere in the background. This was before that got turned into a super soaker, so that's one of the only emoji things I know.
So my question with the female emoji. So we learn that, spoiler for the Emoji Movie. God, we learn that Jailbreak was the princess emoji who ran away and became a hacker. And she's like,
right.
I was born a female emoji, so my only options were princess and bride were my only options. And I'm like, but no, they're not. There's plenty of female emojis who are other things. Why did you think that was your only options in this world?
That's true. You could also be Smile or something like that if you could
Or
do that
a
face.
meh. The other female emoji's a meh. Yeah, it's
also why did she get to choose?
Yeah, nobody gets to choose. You're born into your rigidly defined social... well, I think it was less her being I had to be one of those things than she's pointing out when emojis were first created, those were the only two explicitly female ones, which is a weird real-world critique coming from the emoji character whose perception of these things should be different, because in this world, emojis can be either gender.
Yeah, that is... very strange.
And to your point, she shouldn't be old enough to know that was the case.
Well, and even
and
if
how does she know about what how does she know about the creation of emojis? This would be if you and I were talking and you were like, did you know that when God created man that women were only allowed to be virgins or sluts?
Well, and the first emoji canonically in this movie is the smile emoji, which is a gender-neutral female emoji, a gender-neutral emoji that is a female.
Female, yeah.
So there's nothing stopping this one from being one of those. She could be the winking emoji if she wanted.
Is she just one of the smiley because they all exist specifically in this phone, right? So she's not the smiley emoji, the first one ever made, right? Because she was only made when this phone got made. So she's just... So she's not actually the original, is she?
No, I don't think so. I think every phone has a first smiley that thinks they're the original smiley.
Yeah.
I think that's programmed into the phones.
But they all know that they are in a phone and that there is a place outside of the phone that they can go. Do they all think that they're the only... what do they think texting is then, if they think they're the only phone?
I don't think they think they're the only phone.
Yeah, I don't think they think that.
I think they're all just content with being in their phone only.
They know they can be replaced by the Apple Genius Bar or whatever.
But then how come nobody questions her saying she's the original emoji? How come nobody's like, oh, what are the odds that the original emoji is here in this specific phone with us?
Oh, I think they know she means in their world.
Yeah, I think that's... Well, Dickens, this brought up another question. That's something that you have in your thing. One of the cheeses for this, which is geometrics. You want to explain this question? Oh, geometics. Right.
Like genetics, but meh.
Oh, I thought it was G-medics, like emoji.
No.
So, okay, explain this to the people.
So, once again, spoilers for the Emoji Movie. We are treated to the revelation late in the game, pointlessly, may I add, that Gene, our hero emoji, inherits his ability to have more than one emotion from his father, played by Stephen Wright for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird.
While he poses as a meh emoji, is in fact capable of a wide range of emotions, just like his son. Which raises a question of, is the ability to express emotions genetic amongst emojis? Do emojis have DNA? They have children that apparently inherit their traits from them?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand exactly what's supposed to be going on here.
Could the poop emoji have sex with the flamenco dancer emoji? And would they make a baby emoji that is the combination of both of them?
Right. Just a whole new emoji.
So, I want to see that.
Is every separate kind of emoji a different species and can only mate with its own kind?
Yeah, I think that's true.
So, even though they look very similar, a smiley emoji and a meh emoji are two different species.
You know what? I'm going to say all the circle face emojis are the same species, but all the ones that are their own thing are their own,
But they have a genetic inability to express more than one emotion.
Yes. But maybe they don't. But they do. But, because I expected by the end of the movie they would all be like that.
Same.
But
why
they
wasn't
didn't.
that how the
it
movie
is just
ended?
I'm the only one that can do this, and my dad can also kind of do it. But, what is being an emoji? Like, when he goes to do his emojiing, because for people that don't know, a day in the life of an emoji, you go to work, and you get in a big, like, little Hollywood squares, and then everybody is there, all the emojis, and there's a little, like, camera arm thing that follows what the kid is typing. So as he's selecting an emoji, it, like, kind of searches through everybody, finds the one it wants, and then that guy doesn't just stand there as himself. He goes into emoji mode and, like, produces the emoji that it is. Like,
he, like, loses his arms and legs and just becomes an emoji. Like, that's it.
But, like, so it's not just that this kid can smile and laugh and stuff, even though he's not supposed to. It's that he can translate those smiles and laughs into different emojis, which is weird.
And also, like, even though emojis are apparently genetically incapable of expressing emotions besides the one that they are supposed to be, there's really would not be any problem with them being able to express other emotions, because the only time it matters is the specific moment they're getting scanned. The only reason it's a problem that Gene can express other emotions is because he's such an incompetent idiot that he can't hold one facial expression for, like, 2 whole seconds.
This moron.
And he won't let them not, like, he's like, let me be an emoji. I want to be an emoji so bad. And his parents are like, you're not good at it. And he's like, but please. And then they let him. And then, all hell breaks loose. But he should be able to live a happy life, just, I don't know, going around and hanging out with all the other emojis, whatever they do. Like, what do you do if you're not one of the main emojis?
You hang out in the shame shelter with fucking James Corden.
I mean, like, what if you're not...
That is if you do work as an emoji, but you never get used.
I mean, what if you're one of the... Yeah, like, what a mom... Because I imagine mom and dad med don't both, like, go to work at the same day. So is dad or mom the main one, and then the other one just sits at home and waits? Do they watch TV? Like, what do they do?
Well, there's like businesses and stuff in Textopolis, right?
Yeah.
So do the emojis that don't work in the phone just, like, work retail or something?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think so. I think they have, like, that job that Vision has where they just type and shit. And, like, that's great for them. But, yeah, I don't know. I think the idea of the emojis having, like, I think the idea of emojis not being able to, like, act outside of their one prescribed feature is dumb as a, like, part of the movie. But I do think, like, it makes a little bit more sense if you're a smiley emoji or a frowny emoji, like, you just have to pick one and do it well, but that's up to you. But this guy just can't pick or something. But it's not that. It's that when he does emojiing, he just cycles through, like, 50 different emojis at once, and the scanner scans all of them and then produces an emoji that doesn't exist, which is also weird.
Brand new emoji. The kid's like, what the fuck?
But also,
like, it breaks everybody's brain.
But also, the first time it scans him cycling rapidly through emojis, it scans him as this weird amalgam static emoji that makes the kid go, what? But the second time he does it, it scans him as an emoji that actually is just cycling through a bunch of different emojis.
Well, because he understood, he, like, believed in himself, and, like, he knew what he needed to express to...
The technology can detect if you believe in yourself and changes accordingly.
Might as well, yeah. I don't know. We've spent a lot of time on this. Let's go to another one. I'm going to spin the wheel again. Not that we've spent too much time, because this is the central conceit of how stupid the movie is, and, like, the biggest question the movie asks. Oh, okay. This is one of mine. Landed on movies this is. So I made a list of movies that this is, and I just want to run through them. So, like I said, Inside Out. It's very much Inside Out. Yeah. It's also very much Wreck-It Ralph 2. I feel like Wreck-It Ralph 2 did this, like, not like beat for beat, but like that same shit where you drive into the internet and all the apps are there, and it's like, oh, there's Twitter, there's Amazon. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Although, did Wreck-It Ralph 2 come out before or after this? Because I feel like it was after.
After. Yeah, it was 2018, I believe, or maybe even.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to be fair to the Emoji Movie, it wasn't stealing from this from Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yeah.
Although it was definitely stealing from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes, for sure. Because it's the same, and it is that same idea of like, I'm a bad guy, but I don't want to be bad. Also,
but unlike Wreck-It Ralph, like there is no reckoning with the fact that it is both actually true in the end and not at all reckoned with the fact that the protagonist creates every single problem in the entire movie.
Yeah. Well, also another problem with this, I just thought about. The kid has the the problem. This whole movie is about the meh emoji and his like existential dread and stuff. The meh emoji is a bad emoji to send to like a little girl. You know, like that seems like in the moment when he's like, I'm gonna send an emoji. Since a man, this kid's a dick. Not a good kid,
Yeah, he got a message from his crush, which we never actually see, so we don't know what a context appropriate response would be. But yeah, he's trying to decide, oh man, what message do I send to my crush to like convey all of my feelings? And yeah, apparently he decided on meh in that scene.
Yeah.
And also not only decided on meh, but typed it and then sent it without looking at it. Just immediately sent it, not seeing that it was fucked up, because she looks at it and is like, what's this emoji?
Yeah. He should have sent black thumbs up. His favorite emoji, the one he seems to use the most. One of his bench of emojis. Other movies this is. It's Lego Movie. Really, it's Lego Movie 2, right? Is that the movie where it's revealed that Wild Style is a princess or something?
Yes.
Yeah, and
No,
that
the
also,
first
I
one-
think, came out after this.
I think the first one has something. Well, the first one, Wild Style, reveals that her name is Lucy.
Right. Oh, okay. But is she a princess?
It was
Is
she
that-
the long lost. She was the long lost something.
She had like a different hair color, I think, right? Like at some point in one of the movies, her hair gets wet and it's revealed to be pink. And then the guy, like one of the like little baby toys bows to her and is like, oh, you're my, not baby toys, like the girl
Pretty
toys.
princess.
Yeah. I think that's in the second one. Also, Wreck-It Ralph has that, now that I think about it. Girl that is cool is actually princess.
Yep.
Way to go,
Girl who
movies.
is like a hacker exploiting the system and is kind of, surly and unpleasant, turns out to be secret princess.
It's a really bad, like, thing.
Just overused at this point, I think, is the thing, right?
Not enough. I want more. And then the other two in here, it's Space Jam 2 and Ready Player One, but not that much. But just like that really lazy, like put all the things, all the brands in the frame to please the brands.
Sure.
I guess, you know what it is that's Ready Player One, or Space Jam 2 specifically? Or not Space Jam 2, but like, God, which ones did this? Actually, you know what? This is a Wreck-It Ralph thing. No, wait. This is the Lego Movie thing. Because the bad guys are just like amorphous blocks of nonsense. The Lego Movie bad guys are also that, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because they're just like the business people.
Yeah.
Who works for like Mr. Business is, they're just shapes.
Great. It's great that they made this movie.
Well, it's, you know why? Because Sony didn't have that thing, right? They're like, we want our Lego Movie Inside Out, Wreck-It Ralph amalgamation. So we want one. And then they made one.
It's weird because, like, it's not like Wreck-It Ralph is a property. Disney kind of went, what can we do? Let's make a movie.
Yeah.
But, like I guess Legos, Ready Player One, a lot of that is, like, and Space Jam is, like, taking your IP and kind of mushing it into a movie. And Wreck-It Ralph 2 is that. But, like, Wreck-It Ralph 1, yeah, it's just, like, a movie. Sony could totally have done this because Sony a couple of years before this made Pixels. Remember Pixels?
Oh my God, Pixels!
That's another movie this is because everything's boring pixels. I really hate that about this movie. Comparing it to like a Lego movie where like it's like, oh, at least it's kind of fun to watch because it's like, what is water in this universe? It's like bricks. Cool. But with this, everything's just cubes.
Everything is
really
cubes and a featureless void where apps live.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm going to spin the wheel again. All right, here we go. Tick, tick, tick. It is landed on, it's going to be close. Number 7. Oh, this one's mine. The Virus app. What is this app supposed to be in the phone? Download torrents onto his phone?
Yeah, some kind of like hacker app. Well, I say hacker, but yeah, probably just like torrents or illegal downloads or whatever. But then why would you be doing any of that on your phone?
Yeah.
God,
This kid is
porn.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be porn. It could be like the dark web browser. He's like buying ketamine and like rocket launchers and shit.
And ordering hits.
Yeah, like I think it gets into this like the virus thing, and I think the virus makes sense as like some sort of gutter that exists outside of the atmosphere, But it's not. It's an app. He downloaded viruses and trolls and spam.
Trojan horse.
It's an app that he has deliberately put on his computer and hid its appearance so that his parents don't know what it is. So it's something he does. B, I want to make a quick point here. I know you mentioned that trolls are in this bar, as in other human beings who say mean things online.
No. You see, trolls. He has. Well, sure, those exist. He also has some like troll bots just for him to troll himself, I guess, or to troll others. Oh, maybe he's got like a bot farm. He's releasing the Snyder Cut and all that shit. Like that's him. That's what you do with this app.
That's what it is. Yeah, those are troll bots that he's programmed to like harass women on Twitter.
Yeah, he's interfering with elections on this app.
Do you guys know who voiced the troll?
Yeah, I could. That was only one I could really hear was Jeff. It's Jeff Ross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other ones I looked up afterwards, or like just now when I saw the summary, and I heard a couple, but like some of these I'm like, oh, cool, Rachel Ray. Like that's a voice everyone knows and gives a shit about. Like
so weird.
Sean Hayes, cool.
You were completely shocked to find out that Patrick Stewart was in this movie.
Oh my god. I remember when he was cast in this.
It's so dumb when it's like as poop in the credits. It's like Patrick Stewart as poop. It's like, did his publicist approve this? Like, not even like the poop emoji, just as poop.
I bet he was the highest paid actor in this movie.
Oh, probably.
Oh my god.
Apparently he was actually quite happy to be in it just because people rarely ask him to do weird stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
Like he does like American Dad and shit like that. He seems like he'd be down for a good joke or like at least like a joke. This, I think, was not that. But I mean, the shit with this, with all the apps.
I'm sure they asked him and he was like, oh, that sounds like it could be fun playing poop. And then he got the script and he was like, I've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah. Well, most of the things in this movie that are jokes in the beginning are just puns about emojis, which like, who gives a shit? Because like, it's emoji. That's another thing. It's like, you ever go to the mall and you see those kiosks that sell big like emoji pillows and like shit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do kids give a shit about the emojis themselves?
I don't think so, but I'm not the kids, so
I mean, those things are all in business. Like they gotta be going somewhere. Right.
This is going back a little bit more about the nature of emojis and not so much about this hacker bar. But I gotta point out that at one point we go into I think it's called the We Show app, which I actually have no idea what that is.
Oh, yeah.
But in the We Show app, they have stickers, which are the emojis, but they're stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Why do we need living people to be scanned in for regular emojis? Can't we just put up pictures of them like these stickers?
And why does this kid not use one or the other? Why does he have both? I guess maybe it's packaged into the phone, but no, it's not. It's an app he downloaded. It's a different app than text, right?
The texting app would be packaged into the phone, but the We Show app, I'm pretty sure, you would have to download. Again, I've never heard of this. Maybe
is
this
it
is
a real app? Let's Google it.
Wasn't it WeChat?
Let's see if that's a thing.
Like, was it supposed to be WhatsApp? Because they weren't using any of the... Well, they used Instagram. I was going to say they didn't use any of the Facebook properties.
These were all real apps. Do not get it twisted. Every single thing in this movie was someone who paid for some sweet, sweet product placement.
I don't know about Tor Dark Web Browser, the app, but all the rest of them were real. Like YouTube.
Well, it's like they alluded to Facebook, but didn't say Facebook. Like, what's that? Oh, it's a place where you post stuff. And it's like, is he friends with these people? It's like, no, it's better. They like him.
Well, you could see Facebook. You could see from a shot in the sky. I remember being like, oh, look, it's Facebook. I don't know what the deal is. WeChat is an app. I don't know what it is though, but maybe
I thought it was just like a WhatsApp parallel.
Yeah, it seems like that. It's the Chinese one of these, I think, because it's Tencent, and I believe it is like
it's the one that's not encrypted, so the Chinese government can read all of your texts.
Exactly. I think it's that one. Which is very cool.
Did China like put some money into this movie? They're like, oh, let's get it on the Emoji Movie.
Might as well.
Sure they did.
That would be really funny if there was another like a spin-off movie where just the WeChat apps came in and saved the day, or like the WeChat we'll get to it because we'll get to app propaganda later.
Appaganda.
Yeah, I just also the poop app, the poop emoji in universe seems to actually be poop. No one wants to touch him, And that's
and he's got
weird.
flies around him.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Where did it come from? Who pooped it?
Yeah.
Or was it just poop that was made? Also, they go to the bathroom? Are they poop? Or it's little poops?
That's a good question. And, like, it's weird, too, because, like, all these emojis, which are emojis, also have, like, hands and feet. Even the ones that are hands and feet.
Yeah.
They also have their own little feet, and it's so stupid. All right. Spinning the wheel again. Tick, 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 tick. It has landed on... Oh, number 1. Speaking of app propaganda, this one is... It's secure. Remember when they go into Dropbox... and the robots can't get them there because the app is secure.
God. It's a secure
that was dumb,
app,
wasn't
and
it?
it's malware. This security robot is malware because of its illegal upgrade, I guess?
I guess so, yeah. Why does the text messaging app have that? Ooh, it's because
the Smile lady just went ham.
Yeah. It's weird because it kind of seems like in universe, the text message app is in charge of the whole phone, right? Like,
yeah, it's pretty important, it seems.
It is an important app, yeah. But, I just, that one line was funny to me when they said it's secure. Because Dropbox is the one out of here. I would even say, I mean, the DDR, whatever it is, Dance Central, we'll get to, Just Dance, seems a little weird for a phone, but it's at least a thing that I'm like, kids know what that is, I guess. And Candy Crush is like, that's a phone thing, sure. But Dropbox, it's like, that's not even the top 3 one of those I would assume that a child uses, right?
Yeah.
It's like... There's probably an Apple version of that. There's Google messaging. It's such an odd product placement here.
And, like, the things they're I mean, I guess it's supposed to be aimed at the adults, but, like, this is a movie for children. And in your movie for children, why are you advertising a secure place to store your files on the cloud? They don't know what any of that means.
Yeah.
It's just gibberish.
Right, yeah, because you'd figure the way that this app is framed... They say cloud, but, like, it's really, like, just any app with a connection to the internet. Like, this would be the web browser or something.
Yeah.
Where you can go to the whole web. But, yeah, it's just because it is connected to... Like, it's another fucking movie that doesn't know what the cloud is. The cloud... everything's the cloud. The web browser is the cloud. None of those websites are hosted in the phones. So, it's cloud. Like,
yeah. And in fact, actually, I feel like using Dropbox to escape the phone would actually just lead you to, like, the backup of that phone. So, basically a copy of this phone that won't die when the phone is destroyed.
That's true. That's how they live forever.
So, it's like she won't be seeing the world. She'll be seeing the same world. She would have to go to the internet to, like, actually go out and be free on the internet.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Dropbox is very bad in this. It's the worst part. Or it's the worst product placement.
The illegal malware can't go in the Dropbox app or until it looks at the mail app and then waits a little bit. And then it can, and not only can it get into Dropbox at all, but it can also get past the firewall, which phones don't have.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe there's a scene that was cut where
I assume that was like the passcode thing to get into like certain admin parts of the phone. I don't know. I'm a lot of this is fucking guessing, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be with the robot. I you could read it like that, I guess.
Why do different emojis have the ability to do it? Like it's right. He's special because he can like cheat or whatever.
Well, the only reason that he's special is because when you make a guess, it scans your face, and if you're wrong, then you're not allowed to make any more guesses. So because he can make different emoji faces, the firewall thinks he's a billion different people, and he can make as many guesses as he wants. That's
a really like tight security Dropbox. Like, forget your password once, never again.
You'll never
Dropbox is gone. You can't touch it
unless you can change the expression on your face.
Yeah, impossible. Everyone has one expression. I switched. All right, spun the wheel, landed on number 5. Pour some sauce on that dance burrito. So let's talk about that app.
Talk about that app and also the dialogue in general, which is atrocious.
Yeah, the dialogue is pretty bad. But I think this app is one of the weirder apps. But it is also, like, when you look at some of these other movies, it's like, yeah, Lego Movie had a dancing bit. Ready Player One had a dancing bit. Wreck-It Ralph, I think, had a dancing bit. Like, it's Sonic. Like, just when you make a kid's movie, they have to dance. What I thought was so strange
at least this
about
was before the era of TikTok. Can you imagine?
Oh, my God. Oh, TikTok would be a good app to have in this. It's another Isn't that one like also owned by China or something?
It is.
Yeah, that version of this movie would be pretty fun. The dancing is weird. Did you guys notice who this voice was? Because this one I didn't catch during the movie.
I did.
Was this Sofia Vergara?
No,
she plays the.
Oh no,
dancing
Christina Aguilera.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So good for her.
Yeah.
She is a giant woman that lives in the computer. And we know that because later we see her and she just is there. Like she's like a 20-foot tall woman who makes everybody dance.
Mm-hmm. And they got Christina Aguilera to voice this character, and at no point does she sing.
Nope.
Right?
She just says like, good job.
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah. Some
It reminds me
That
of
dance move. It's the emoji pop.
Oh God. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's weird because what is like so Just Dance? Is it on phones?
I have no idea. I could not tell you.
Probably not. Mostly, right? It's mostly a video game for Kinect and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know
how do you play
would.
it?
Yeah, I don't really know
right.
how it would work on a phone.
Like, I guess phones have cameras, so you can set it up in like portrait mode, and I don't know, man.
There is an app called Just Dance now.
And it's the Just Dance.
I don't know. Well, it's from Ubisoft, so I guess it
Probably.
is.
Yeah, that is the Just Dance. Interesting.
But
I also like.
it does not look like what this app looked like.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sure the 2017 version was very different.
I also think it's strange. I mean, I guess it makes sense that the viruses can ruin all of the apps. But it's funny how this one just dies, and she dies and goes to hell with all the hell apps in hell.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know what's going on. I feel like,
Nah.
but I also feel like she should think it's weird that emojis are doing this, right? They don't just do this.
I think whoever comes in, she's happy that they're there.
That's true.
There's
This kid
also-
probably downloaded this once, never played it, and she is languishing in Danceville her whole life.
And they cut through a bunch of apps to get to where they're going, right?
Right.
Yep.
Why?
Was that like they were like dodging the guys who were after him or something like that?
No,
Yeah, I
she's just no, but that's not the reasoning they give. She's just like the fastest way is to cut through this app, and I'm like, why?
Oh, it's
just
the
walk
fastest
around
way.
it. There's like roads between all the apps. There's no reason to ever go in any of these apps.
That's a good point.
It's a great point, Diggins.
I guess hypothetically the robots would find you, but also they find them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It would also be good if they're like, well, we can't. The robots will find us.
Right, or like if they were like, well, the robots can't go into the apps, they're not good enough at dancing, but then immediately they are, so it
They
doesn't matter.
download
robots are
the
so
Funk
good at dancing.
protocol.
Yeah.
And this is also a great example of if there's a wheel slice for this, Nando, let me know. But a great example of how every problem in this movie is caused by the protagonist.
No, that ain't here, so go for it.
Well, because they activate Just Dance accidentally. High Five activates it because he's the most annoying character. And then they have to do it, and so it running and making noises and being like, you did a good dance in the middle of class gets Alex in trouble. And that, along with
Right.
Candy Crush activating and all the other stuff that
Delicious.
the main characters activate and cause to make noises at times when Alex does not want them to, is what makes him be like, I gotta get this phone fixed. So if he hadn't left to go on this quest, then all that would have happened is Alex would have been like, oh, that's weird that my phone had that glitched emoji once. Oh well. And then
Yes.
nobody would have ever been in any danger.
I guess like Smile might have murdered him specifically.
Well, yeah, well, that's
She was ready to kill his ass.
Well, yeah, she was way overreacted. She should have just been like, "Kid, you can't work here anymore. Get out." Like, if
But then
she
what
had
job can he get?
go work retail, go work at the Forever 21 that the princesses shop at. I don't know. But if she had just done that, if she hadn't been like, "I'm going to murder you," but instead just like, "You can't work here," and he hadn't gone off on a quest, like, there would have been no issue. And like, there's no reflection. Like, Wreck-It Ralph has this a little bit where it's like him going off, like, puts the whole arcade in jeopardy, right? But like,
Right.
there's a point where he has to reckon with that and like fix the problem because he recognizes that it's his responsibility, right?
Right.
This movie doesn't have that. He fixes the problem because he doesn't want to die, but at no point does anyone point out this is all your fault, which would be 100% true. It is all his fault.
Yeah, and I guess the stakes of this movie are weird because at the end, it's like all this, like with a movie like this or something like, Wreck-It Ralph, we go through all this trouble, but also we kill King Candy, who is secretly destroying the whole candy, whatever it is, Sugar Rush game, and is, fucked everything up. So it's like, well, the world is a little bit better now in a way that is different and maybe worth the sacrifice and all of the stuff that we went through over the course of the movie. With this, it's like we have new emojis, which who gives a shit, and all the emojis get to go to the emoji bar if they want to. Even though in the post-credit scene you were describing, DJ, it seems like there's still an emoji shitty club somewhere. So
underclass. Yeah,
I guess that's not true. And it's not
real quick note about this loser room. Absolutely no way in hell does a teenage boy's least used app emojis include the eggplant.
Yeah, I figured they'd just kind of ignore the eggplant in general in the movie, but no, they make a point to be like, he's not even using the eggplant. It's like, I don't even use the eggplant very much, but it's definitely not up there with like Old Lady and whatever that one thing was, like
the fish cake.
The fish cake, yeah. Like, you use it as a joke. You put it in like a, in the Venmo message slot for fun, It's definitely not. I use it more than Black High Five. For some reason, that one's just like killing it because I'm not racist. But the other thing I think is so weird about that is, like, it's not like, it seems like, and it's something, what this also kind of like is like Toy Story, where but Toy Story 3, where by the end it's like, oh, but this bad guy has like he's been throwing out all the toys, or like a Wreck-It Ralph, where it's like it doesn't seem like Happy or whatever has done this before. So it's not like a movie where in the end it's like, oh, and look at all these people he saved from being executed that were all in jail. There's nothing. It's just him.
It doesn't seem like anyone thought she was tyrannical until she wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And nobody particularly wanted to be expressing more than one emotion. It's not like they lived in a society where they were forced to express only one emotion. It's not like The Giver. They just genetically only have one emotion and think it's weird that this guy has more than one.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I do think it's funny that there's like so many angles this movie could have taken but didn't. And like, if this movie came out today, there'd be something like, well, it's whatever body you're put in, that's the role you need to have in society. You shouldn't try and deviate from whatever body that if you feel different, that's wrong.
That depends on who writes it.
That's what the movie does say in the end, because he has to be who he is, but he has to be who he is fulfilling the role that society has laid out for him, being an emoji in this kid's phone. And the character
he doesn't have to be the
doesn't...
emoji. He could be the an-emoji.
Yeah, but he still has to do the fundamental function. He just gets to choose how he does it. The character who does think, I don't want to be an emoji, I want to go see the world and do things that I want to do, is the one who just doesn't do that and learns that she's wrong to want that.
And the meh emoji or whatever, Gene, is like still a slave to his biology in that he doesn't, it's not like anything is fixed or anything. Like if this was a trans allegory, let's say, the end of this movie would be like, he'd be like, I can be a boy, but I can wear any hat I want. And like, but obviously that is what I am because that's the rules. Like, so it's pretty, it's a pretty fucked up, metaphor, no matter how you slice it. But also it's so vague and confusing that I don't think anyone could derive any meaning from this. Like,
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Although
I think it was less malintent on the screenwriter's part and more that they wrote a bunch of nonsense to tie together a bunch of product placement, and what came out was thematically confused.
Yeah, I think that's right.
When Jailbreak turns him down the first time, I so wanted her to be like gay or something. I'm like, oh, she doesn't like boys. That's why she won't like go with him.
No, DJ, the worst thing a girl can ever do is turn down a boy. That ruins his emotions forever and crushes his spirits.
Especially TJ Miller, because then she's a terrorist and he has to report it to police. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. I spun the wheel again. It landed on what I believe is 6. Yes. This is one of mine. I just want to talk about the trash. So the trash is some sort of, this is what I was describing as hell, where all the viruses go when, or whatever goes when they're zapped by the robots. Also, Just Dance Lady is there, and like all that is just happening.
It's when you're deleted by either Alex or the robots, I guess. I figured the robots were just killing people, but I guess It just sends them to the trash can.
That's what I assume too, but that seems like what it is. And so I guess like, A, do phones have trashes?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
B, it feels like this movie is just about a computer, but it's not. It's about a phone. But like all this stuff is, I guess Candy Crush is a computer or is a phone thing. But second, like what? So when these guys get deleted, they die. Are we supposed to feel bad for the spam? And like you like freeze it. They're like they give them like the rope. They're like, everyone get out. You can all be free. I'm like, don't let the spam out. It's not good. Like don't let the Trojan virus into the phone. And I just this movie has a weird relationship with viruses.
I mean, from our perspective, yeah, the trolls and spam and viruses and whatever, like, yeah, let them get deleted. They're only bad. But from the perspective of our main characters, those are like people. And so keep in mind, High Five ends up kicking the rope thing down into the trash, and they all do die.
Yes.
So that's kind of insane that James Corden's character condemns a bunch of human beings to death because they were kind of rude to him.
Do you think he wrote that in? They were like, and then you High Five, pull up all the... No. That does not... People won't believe it. It's not on brand. I'd like to have it actually that I accidentally killed them all. And then you go like, did you do it on accident?
Only after giving them hope that I was going to rescue them.
Yeah. Also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, one thing that's weird about the viruses and kind of sentience in general when it comes to this is like, the emojis are all people. Like, they have, like, personalities to some extent, but they have, like, lives and houses and stuff. The Just Dance lady is, like, seems to be, like, when she is shown in hell, her brain is, like, broken, and she's just, like, doing dance moves to herself. So, like, maybe it's because of the trauma. And crying, yeah. But the like some of the viruses, like the spam email, it's like, what level of sentience is that at? Because it doesn't seem like it's a person, you know? Is it like a bird? Because it just goes like, here, spam, but it doesn't break at any point and go like, oh, this isn't working. It's just like, it's not everything on this app in this phone is the same like level of thing, which is strange. I am spinning the wheel again. Spin. It landed on, I'm going to say this is probably 8. Yeah, this one's Candy Crush. I just want to talk about Candy Crush a little bit.
Yeah.
Extended detour to Candy Crush. So, yeah. So, A, have either of you ever played? I've never played this.
I've never played Candy Crush. Never had the pleasure.
It seems really boring, right? Like,
it's just the Bejeweled, right? It's the same thing. Yeah. There's like 1,000 derivatives of those games, but this is candy.
Yeah, and it's like so the kid goes in, everybody goes in, and only Gene gets stuck in the actual game. Yeah. Which then turns on and he plays it. The other ones play it
because he's vaguely fruit-like or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. This part was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah, so they have to play Candy Crush to get him to the bottom, but then they can't, which is just like, in the world of the app, it's just a floating, like, Connect 4 made of glass.
Yeah.
That things just get stuck in, and you move by touching the glass as though that were the smartphone screen.
Mm-hmm. Which I guess means when he plays it, the game has a big finger that comes from heaven that starts swiping at it, right? Like, that's how that gets visualized in their world. Which means the emojis are very large. Way larger than you would expect, considering how big they are in relation to this. But
did you guys like when he almost died? Or like when they had him explode? I was like,
oh,
how fun.
Cool. I wish he really died.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy if it was like then just hand and jailbreak, like having to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, then everyone would have gotten what they wanted with no problems. Everyone would have been happy.
Well, and I feel like if he died, he would have went to the trash, right? They could have rescued him from hell like they did with the hand, maybe?
That actually would have been clever.
I mean, like, yeah, none of it makes any sense. What was the other thing I was going to say? The bit where they're playing Candy Crush during it, the hand, because he is played by James Corden. Now, this is not expressed visually, but we know James Corden is a large man and loves to eat. That's what his cat does. I'm assuming that's what he does in other movies. So his character has to have a little thing where he just can't stop eating candies. Like, just make him a different fucking like emoji. Make him an emoji that eats candies and likes that. Why is he the high five at all?
Well, how else are we going to work in all those sick puns and jokes about hands, Nando?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Also, does that emoji traditionally have a Band-Aid on it? Probably not, right?
I don't think so, no.
Why does he have that? Did he hurt his hand?
No.
Well, speaking of this, I spun the wheel and we landed on another topic, charisma and a sense of entitlement. So we're going to talk about him.
God.
Let's talk about hand.
Yeah, so I forget like when or how this line comes up, but like he literally says, maybe people just love my charisma and sense of entitlement, and which is like no irony, just like drops that line. And I was asking the guys before, it's like, do you guys think like James Corden was like, oh, people find this so funny, I'm kind of being a little bit of a dig at myself about how I'm so charismatic and everyone loves me so much, but I'm kind of being a little bit self-effacing about this. Everyone will love this line.
I don't know. I waffle on James Corden.
I fully believe that James Corden has absolutely no self-awareness whatsoever.
Now, Dickens, you believe James Corden is also involved in some sort of witch's curse. Isn't that correct?
Well, not a witch's
That's
curse.
right.
He has signed a blood contract with the head of every studio that forces them to cast him in every musical thing that comes out, or else they will unleash the hell pit beneath Hollywood, and 101 demons will emerge and cause LA to be turned into the living realm of Satan.
So how did he get in this movie? What's going on here?
Well, like I said, the casting director was trying to sabatage it. So the worst possible two people for the leads.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they nailed it. We haven't talked much about TJ Miller, but it's just because like the meh character emoji is just him speaking, and it's insufferable for the entire runtime. It's awful.
Yeah, I don't love him as a side character, but I really don't love him as a main character.
Yeah. But I just want to fit in and like be who I want to be. Mom, Dad, I promise I can do it. Tibble!
I was going to say,
I have a most special dream.
I've rewatched that. What if they redid Morbius, but with the Pinocchio voice instead?
Listen,
I'm Morbin, guys.
I think we're getting off track of the real main point here, which is that James Corden sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fair. Thank you for putting us back on track. So James Corden.
I gotta say, easily the most annoying, worst character in the movie. He's there to be making what I hesitate to call jokes constantly. Just the most annoying interludes that have nothing to do with anything that's happening. The movie would be like half as long if you just cut all of James Corden's lines.
That's true.
For sure.
And also, like, his whole thing is like he's a narcissist who wants to be one of the top popular emojis because he thinks popularity is more important than friendship. And at the end of the movie, he says, "Now I've realized that friendship is more important than popularity," a thing he has never learned or demonstrated up until this point. And 5 seconds later, when everyone's cheering for Gene, he goes, "And high five! And high five!" demonstrating that he has learned nothing.
And he gets to go to his stupid little club. Like, that's his reward for being good in the movie, is he gets to go to the special VIP lounge. So,
which is now no longer a VIP lounge. Everyone is allowed in, so not very special.
Except for the losers, like Smiley and the fish cake.
Maybe they just like it down there. I mean, it seems like if James Corden's in the cool club, I'll go to the other one.
Yeah, that's no longer the cool club.
It's probably nice and quiet down there.
And also his reason for being in the movie doesn't make any sense because
I can't even remember what it is.
He's like, he knows where Jailbreak is and decides that he's going to come with Jean and like show him the way because she can hack to make him a popular emoji again. It's never quite clear exactly what he thinks she's going to do.
Oh,
and it ends up being fine because he never even gets it done in the first place.
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, what did he want if he had to guess?
I'll make you the poop emoji or something?
Yeah. Would he just show up and he's like, I'm also the poop emoji? Like, great. We already have one.
You're not related to me. Like, who is this man?
Yeah, like, it's like we have all the emojis we have. There aren't more emojis you can be. It's not like you could show up and be like, I don't know what there isn't an emoji of yet. Like an avocado or something. I'm sure there's an avocado. But you can't just show up and be that and be like, I'm that one now. So, like, what? Yeah, I don't know. I think he just wanted to be black. I think that's it. He wanted to get the Dolezal.
Could you imagine?
He wanted to do a Get Out
situation. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Get Out, by the way,
cool.
I forgot to mention this earlier. Jordan Peele was initially offered the role of the poop emoji, and he was so offended by that it's the reason he retired from acting.
Really?
Get Out. Are you serious?
That's 100% true.
That's pretty funny.
That's so wild. Like,
He would have
I don't
taken
know.
it.
Patrick Stewart eventually got it. He should have been like, oh, maybe this was like a cool thing that I was being offered.
Or like, maybe I shouldn't take myself too seriously. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
not
right?
Alfred Hitchcock. Like, maybe I'm just a person. That's fine.
It's like
Nothing wrong
whatever.
with that.
It's the poop emoji.
Got
I
nothing
like
against
hate-
Jordan Peele. He's fun.
I
I
feel
hate
like
him more now.
there is maybe some underlying subtext to casting a black person as the poop emoji that does not exist for Patrick Stewart.
Hey, Patrick
Like-
Stewart's white?
Wait,
I've
is it
only
like
seen him in this. He's a white man. This is blowing my mind.
it's the idea that like because he's black, it's like you're I don't know, retiring from acting though.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Is it because he wasn't getting offered anything? Was
Maybe.
he mad that Keegan Mike and Key was in Predator or whatever?
Well, Keegan Michael
Was he
Key
in that?
is trying to still act, and that's his main thing. Jordan Peele has kind of become more of a producer-director figure.
Yeah, I imagine.
I just
he was-
wonder if he just like said that to like make a point. It's like I'd still be this great actor if it wasn't for the fucking me being offered the emoji poop emoji thing.
But he's also
I mean-
has done some small acting roles since then. So it's not
So
like
he's a liar. Ugh.
he retired from like trying to be mainly an actor.
You can't trust anyone in Hollywood, is what I'm learning.
It seems like with this movie, everybody that's in it probably, well, I don't know. They got some people that are like people, like Stephen Wright and Jennifer Coolidge. You haven't really talked about her as the mom.
Yeah.
Maya Rudolph plays Smile very weirdly. Anna Faris, like, it's not a terrible cast, but it is cast people that I'm like, you should have known better. Like, you really need that money, and maybe you do, and that's great.
Well, listen, does Anna Faris raise two beautiful, perfectly normal and healthy children?
Three now.
You know, I think that 3 now. Well, I think that makes her judgment a little suspect. That her
That is
child's
true.
not healthy.
That's a good point. She needs it to, to like, I mean, this seems like the kind of thing that Chris Pratt would be in if they made it now. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
he would be
Absolutely.
Gene for sure.
The Mario movie of its day.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd be a great poop emoji.
I spun the wheel, by the way. We only have
He
two
would
more
be
things
like
on the wheel.
a movie that says that everyone must conform to their traditional roles in society. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'd like to have it end with me and the smiley face emoji like hugging for civility purposes. That would actually be pretty cool. That's what the world needs more of right now. That might be what Chris Evans wants to. Never mind. I do want to talk about number 10, which we spun on the wheel. Lack of dramatic stakes. Is that what we're going with for this one?
Dramatic tension, perhaps?
Or
I don't
tension?
know.
Sure. Yeah, what's the deal with this one, Diggins?
So the human plot of this movie with Alex is that he needs to send a message to his crush because she texted him, and he wants to send the perfect message, which can only be an emoji, I guess.
Apparently.
But he can't figure out what to send. And so the climax of the movie is Gene is this Animoji that shows several different emoji faces, and he's like, that's it. That's what I'll send her. Why didn't I think of just sending her each of these emojis in sequence? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If this is apparently what I think is perfect. But the thing is, though, it's extremely clear from the very first time she shows up in the movie that this girl is thirsty for Alex. Like, she wants him to ask her to the dance. She wants it so much that when he finally does ask her, he doesn't even actually ask her. He, like, says the first two words of the sentence, and she's like, yeah, let's go to the dance.
Yeah.
Like, there was never any question on this point from an audience perspective. And not
That's what high
only-
school's like.
Yeah, that's definitely my experience of high school.
Send the right
then-
emoji. You can do whatever you want. It's like it's.
And
it
then-
we didn't
unlocks
have
the
emojis, guys. That's
multiverse.
why. If we
Yeah.
had them, we would have all crushed it.
Oh yeah.
And then
well, no,
also-
speak for yourself, but yeah.
All right, fair enough.
It's worth pointing out that he already has her phone number and her email address, and she is texting him out of the blue. Like,
Yeah.
when you're a teenager, all of that is so huge. What is this kid so worried about?
That's true.
He's waiting for like a signed letter in like with her intentions and all of that, because he's just a very good boy, and he needs to know all of this going forward before they get involved.
So
I also think it's.
But sorry, you go.
I was just saying, I also think it's weird that the movie sets up like this, like, oh, what am I going to tell her? What am I going to tell her? And at one point, we go down into hell, and there's a trash like letter that has been trashed. That is some song lyric. I can't remember what it is, but I'm
Shine
like,
bright like
Shine
a diamond.
bright, like, yeah.
oh right, yeah,
From Rihanna.
from Rihanna, yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's what it's going to be. He's going to, instead of using emojis, which are stupid, use words, which are better. But that's not what it is. He just sends her a better emoji that has 2 smiles instead of 1.
But it undercuts the whole premise of the ending, where it's like Jean's special talent saves the day by convincing Addie to go out with Alex, which makes Alex want to keep the phone. It's like, no. What made Addie want to go to the dance with Alex is Alex being who he is. And it's just that he finally sent an actual message. And actually even that wasn't really the catalyst, because she goes over to talk to him because she sees him in the store, where she also is.
Yeah.
And then the message is just a thing they talk about before he asks you to go to the dance. Jean did literally nothing to help Alex.
Yeah, that's true. It's weird, and it's weird because when he sends her the original weird emoji text, everything like goes to hell. It's not that weird though.
Yeah.
I would be like, that's a weird text. What does that mean? But instead it seems like this girl judges texts and says like, this text means he is not worthy of me and my time. I hope he sends a better text, and then I will love him the proper way. But like, because he has sent a poor text, he cannot get my attention.
He does not demonstrate value.
Yeah.
But
so
again,
like,
it's not even like I will choose whether or not I like him based on this. It's I will choose whether or not to let him ask me to the dance, a thing I already want, based on whether his emoji is cool enough.
Well, you can't go to the dance with a guy with lame emojis. You know, it's good that he demonstrates that he can be cool by doing cool emojis. Then it's like, all right, this guy's dance material. So there's that.
Well,
Also, like, yeah,
as this movie loves to point out, those dang kids are always on their dang phones.
always on.
Oh my God.
phones.
Shortly before doing
about-
an hour and a half of product placement for dang phones.
Bro, how about the teacher when he's like, and remember when there were messages by picture, like hieroglyphics? Does that remind anyone of anything? Does that remind anyone of anything? Does that remind, just like...
I really think my problem with the whole conceit of this movie is that, like, by the end, I'm still like, emojis weren't that big, were they? Nobody gives that big of a shit about emojis. No one ever did. Like, GIFs are kind of something, you know, and, like, selfies and, like, Snapchats is a big deal. Like, that
and
was something
pics.
that people sent to each other. Dick pics, yeah, that's true. Eggplants, I guess, that's the emoji that matters. But, like, the rest of it, I'm like, boy, kids really focus... Like, if this was the phone movie, I'd be like, yeah, kids love phones. And the emoji thing is part of phones. But the Emoji Movie, I'm still like, why emojis? And no good reason. So we are at the end of the wheel. There's one more cheese. Which I did spin the wheel as procedure.
One that stands alone, perhaps?
That's true. And I want to talk about specifically Smiley's plan. And, like, what her deal is. Is she the manager of all of them?
Yeah, she's like the main supervisor, it seems like.
If she dies, do they all stop?
I mean,
they
she
all
must have a second in command, right?
I guess so. So, it seems like she's really excited to murder this kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say why, but, like, my question about her is she's, like, ready to murder this kid. Who is the meh emoji that misbehaved. If that happens, the meh emojis that are going to have to fill in for him are his parents, who I don't think will be thrilled about the whole murder thing. So, like, I just don't understand why she doesn't just put him in jail or something. Or, like, yeah, we kind of talked about this, but why she isn't just like, all right, I guess you can't be an emoji anymore. Why he needs to be punished.
I feel like
I feel
like it had to be, like, for writing purposes, you had to make her, like, really over the top unreasonable, because if she's just like, you can't be an emoji, and then he goes off and does all these things that almost gets everyone he's ever known and loved killed.
Yeah.
Then he just seems so wildly irresponsible that it's impossible to sympathize with him. It's like, wow, you almost got your entire world destroyed because you were upset you couldn't do the worst job in the world.
And I think we've already gotten at this, but there's a version, I could see a version of this movie where like his emojiness infects other emojis or something and like ruins them too, and that's what the chaos that she wants to prevent. But there's just no, it's just no like, yeah, she ramps up to 11 for no reason to decide to murder this kid in a way that is very, very strange. And she also like does the mega virus software, which is bad. Seems like it's dangerous.
An important thing to point out here, though, is apparently they make the decision to kill him in a board meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So presumably, unless she controls 51% of the shares of Textopolis or something, other emojis also voted to kill him, right?
Yeah.
You know, this guy sucks.
I assume the devil emoji, the poop emoji, you know, the mean emojis.
But so, like, other people were like, yeah, kill the kid. But she's the only one who gets punished in the end.
That's true. I mean, yeah. It's the only instance of, do you remember this line? Why do men steal all the ideas from women? It's the opposite of that. She finally gets the credit she deserves, but it's actually, she probably shouldn't get that much credit.
Oh, man.
This movie's got
the like, desperate attempts to, like, appear progressive by having Jailbreak say the most like ham-fisted quote-unquote feminist lines is so cringe.
It's awful.
It's
awful.
pretty terrible. And like, I mean, like, it's funny because when you look back at all these other ones that are like this, not Inside Out, but like Wreck-It Ralph, Lego Movie, Ready Player One, kind of, although I don't really remember. Like they did this exact same thing, but just like with a little bit more something from this character, this Jailbreak character, and it works pretty well. You just get an act. Yeah. You know what it is too, and something that is a little different about the other ones, especially Vanellope and Wreck-It Ralph. Like I would never. I watched the movie and I didn't know it was Anna Faris, and I didn't know that at the end either. Like there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no like personality that comes through a bunch of these characters in a way that would at least make this. I mean, when it does come through, it's James Corden and stuff. But when like with Anna Faris's one, it's like if you put someone in there like Sarah Silverman, maybe probably not her, but like someone like that, you'd be like, oh, this is kind of fun. This is something. But they managed to take the only likable actor in this cast. Well, I guess that's not true. Maya Rudolph is likable too, and so is Patrick Stewart. But like they take the third principal actor. And
the only likable lead.
Yeah, and they managed to make her like the one that kind of fades into the background. It's really stupid. This movie's stupid. I didn't like it.
It's a bad
movie. I know you guys liked it, but I didn't like it.
Oh, loved it.
Yeah, you guys are wrong. It was bad. Any other thoughts about the Emoji Movie?
No one ever see it ever. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of interesting to watch certain scenes just so you can see it. Like the bit where they're praising Dropbox is kind of funny. The bits where they're showing how the emoji town works, it's like kind of funny because it's like, what the fuck is this? But as a movie, yeah, it's super dull. And TJ Miller and James Corden. So what more do you need? Yeah. Do you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Oh man, I would love to get to our classic segment.
All right, let's recommend some things. DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
Yeah, so this is it's like kind of an old rec, but it's so old and there's been some new stuff, so I like want to bring it back. So let me ask the committee, will the committee allow a slightly old rec with like, you know, a little bit of fresh spin on it?
You know what? If I wasn't going to recommend two old things this week too, then I would probably say no, but for this reason I will say yes. I will allow it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not Destiny 2.
Dickens, why would you? Oh, all right. Well,
was it Destiny 2?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have mentioned before a game you guys might be familiar with called Root on the podcast before.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's been a was that Dickens?
I've played it.
Yes, and actually since then there's been a lot of fun updates to it. So that's what I want to talk about. So I haven't wrecked this game in probably quite a few years, as a matter of fact. So to describe this game, it is an asymmetric territory control war style game where you're playing as these like adorable little woodland animals to try and press your influence over a forest and basically rule the forest. And in the beginning, there were like a few animals. It was basically cats versus birds. And like the idea cats are not woodland animals. They were like these invaders to the woodland forest, and the birds are trying to protect their home. And then you had like rabbits and like foxes, and you had like this little vagabond raccoon. And this game came out, I want to say 4 years ago, maybe like 2018. It came out a while ago. Since then, there's been like multiple expansions and a ton more animals. There's lizards, otters, badgers, like little mole guys, ravens, like a ton more animals. Add like a ton of different ways to play this game. I personally, so there's been a lot of different expansions. There's been what's been called the Marauder expansion, the Riverfolk expansion, and the Underworld expansion. Those are like the 3 big expansions that has been added, and then there's like a lot of different other little things you could buy, like accessories and pieces. Anyway, I have found this game to be quite a joy to play since the addition of all these different additions and like new critters. The reason I brought it up is because I kickstarted one of the newest ones, and it came in the mail last weekend, and I played it, and it was so much fun. Now, what you'll be saying is, DJ, you always recommend all these board games, and like I can't play it, and it's so much, and you know, I understand, right? It's hard. Well, listeners, what I could tell you is that you could actually play the game Root on Steam. So you could buy Root, the base game, on Steam for $15. It's not too bad. And then you could get like the whole bundle, which is everything. For I think it's like $40 or something like that, and it includes the Riverfolk expansion with new characters. There's like more vagabonds you can play as, and these things called exiles. And there's a Clockwork expansion. So like in the board game, it's like a little automated player that plays. So like you can in theory play by yourself or make like a 2-person game and 3-person game. Not sure exactly how it works in the video game, but I digress. So if you don't want to play the board game version, you can try it on Steam, see if you like it. There's multiplayer, you can play with friends, and then maybe the board game would be something that you would want to get. It's by Leader Games. You can find it on leadergames.com. They have a bunch of different games. They have like a Kickstarter going on right now for a trick-taking game that'll come out in like 5 years or whatever, how Kickstarters work. But I'm like a huge stan for Leader Games. I love basically all their games that they've put out. I've loved and have probably recommended on this podcast. But I just wanted to bring Root back up because there's like a lot of new expansions you could get, and it's all on their website. It's all available. The base game's like $50, so it's not like terribly high barrier to entry. There's a shut up and sit down video that's a few years old that Quinn's does that explains the game. He's not like super high on it, but I think it's like one of those games where results may vary kind of deal. But yeah, overall, I just think it's like a really fun game. And it could be a great addition to your board game nights, or you can just try it out on Steam if you think that's something that like might make sense. So yeah, I'm going to recommend Roots, a game of woodland might and right. Also, the art is adorable, and I love it so much. So yeah.
Cool. Diggins, what about you? Got anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. First, a quick seconding, or rather thirding in this case, of a rec. I watched Spike's Family, or Spy Family, or Spy X Family, however you want to say it. It's very good. It's very cute. It's very funny. I second everything you, Nando and DJ have said about it. As for new recs, I saw 2 movies this week, which I will mention. One was I went to see Petite Maman, the new movie by Celine Sciamma, who was the director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This one is a movie about a little girl, after her grandma dies, like her family goes to clear out her grandma's house. And while she's there, like she goes out to play in the woods and somehow ends up meeting the child version of her mother. And like they can go to the past version of her grandma's house and everything. And then she can go back through the woods back to the present day. And so it's about kind of like that's pretty much the entire plot. There's not like a lot that happens per se, but it's all about how this kind of like generational divide, you know, the impossibility of like knowing your parents as children or as they were from before you were born, and kind of bridging that divide and like being able to see your parent as this other person. It's very cute. It's very touching. I really enjoyed it. It's like 70 minutes long, so even less than a tight 90.
Hey!
Nice. Like this
Speaking
one.
my language, dude.
Nice short movie.
Oh my god.
So that's really great. If you can, I think it's only in limited release, but if you can find that one, you should watch it. The other movie I saw this week is I saw some decidedly not normal, uninnocent men.
My goodness. What'd you think?
I understand why people don't like it, or why some people don't like it. It's not like it's panned. It's just a little divisive. But you know what? I appreciate big wild swings and movies that are super weird and surreal. This movie acts like it's a normal kind of folk horror thriller kind of thing, like in the vein of Midsummer or Hereditary for about the first half. And then it descends into full-on surrealistic fever dream. I feel like if you've read the plot and you're like, that sounds like a bunch of nonsense, I don't think it is possible for it to read well. But if you see it happening, it feels much more impactful. I had a really good time with it. I appreciate that it's this big, weird movie that's not like a lot of other things you would see on a theater screen. So yeah, I would definitely, if you like that sort of thing, I think Nando, I forget if this was on mic or not, but you said it kind of reminded you of Mother.
It seemed like that. Is that correct?
I think it's the closest we've gotten in like a major release in recent times to what this is like. It's by Alex Garland, who also made Ex Machina and Annihilation, if you like either of those. But yeah, if you like that kind of like surreal, very heavily symbolic storytelling that's in Mother, then I think you should give Men a chance, because it's pretty good.
Cool.
Nando, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
Yeah, I would recommend two shows that I've been watching this week. So they're both old shows that have new stuff out. First one is an obvious one. The Boys. Watch that. Watch the first episode and a half of season 3. 3 are currently out now, and I think it's rules. It's still a very good show. Everything I liked about it is still there, and I think the new. It's just I've never seen a show or anything with world building this good. Like at one point they go to a theme park that's like the Vaughtland theme park, and I'm like, yeah, that's what it would be. Like that, you've created it. It's crazy, but it's used to tell a very weird, silly story. I'm waiting for the moment when it kind of kicks back into gear, because right now there's like this new status quo that was kind of created at the end of the last season, and I want to see how that is, kind of broken. But I do like some of the big things they're doing with characters. I mean, Homelander is great this season. It seems like he's, completely lost it, but it's the other characters that I'm really like loving. And yeah, there's a scene in the first episode of season 3 that is insane. Everybody knows if you've seen it, so I don't want to spoil it, but that rules. And I think it's totally worth watching. The other thing, and we were joking about this before, because good old Netflix does that great thing. Oh, excuse me. Good old Netflix does that great thing where they drop the whole season of things at once usually.
Yeah.
And they spend $1 billion on it, and then you forget it happened like a week later. And I hate that. I shouldn't do it. They should do weekly releases too. Or like The Boys, like this hybrid weekly release where you drop a bunch in the beginning and then one a week. I think maybe that's the smartest version of this. But, and we were also joking about like, oh man, they've, spend $1 bazillion on Stranger Things and they canceled all the other projects, which is true. But also, it would be a lot more of a critique if Stranger Things wasn't really good this season, but it kind of is. So,
really? Get out. No, don't say that. I don't want to watch it.
It's really good. Like, the problem with it is, the big problem, if you remember, because how could you, what happens in season 3, it's been so long, and also, we all watched it in a week and forgot about it. No one could talk about it. It has in the end, our characters are split up into what is essentially 3 groups, although it's really 2 groups and then one character who's on his own. So the show is, I would say, it is done a disservice by the fact that there is a main plot going on in Hawkins that is very interesting and has enough characters to support a show, and yet we still have to go back and check on other characters, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to see any of them. They're all dumb. There are a couple new characters that are added that are like very good. There are some characters that I didn't really like in the 3rd season that I think work really well here. And the mystery and like the horror-y stuff is great. So it's a very slick show, very well edited and cool. And if some brave hero manages to cut all the shit in California and Russia out and just give me the Hawkins cut, that's all I really want to watch. Like, I truly do not care about any. I don't care about 11. The other thing is, like, 11, Mike, what's the name? Will, like, and then the brother whose name I can't remember. Those are the characters that are, like, sequestered in California for at least the beginning, and, like, those are probably all my least favorite characters too. All the other ones, like Dustin, Steve, the Nancy, like, are the fun ones. So, the parts where they're doing Hawkins stuff, it's beautiful. So yeah, I'd recommend that if you hadn't watched it before.
What about the beauty of leaving issues of representation up to fan interpretation, Nando?
They say, I saw an interview with them, they said that's going to get resolved in the second half of this season, because that's one of the things they are doing that is interesting. It's just still like, just fucking do it the way everybody else does it, Netflix. You can do it this way. Is they're releasing, I think, 7 episodes, and then maybe 3 are coming in a month or something like that. And they're all way too long, but it's just because they have to do all this bullshit plot in California. But yeah, that part of it is dumb. But hey, that's par for the course for all these streaming services. I mean, except for The Boys. If you want to get some graphic man-on-man content, you got a show there's a show for you. Stranger Things isn't quite scratching that itch. What'd you say?
Have you yet to watch a single minute of The Boys, Diggins?
I said you've piqued my interest. I have not watched a single minute of The Boys, no.
Oh my.
You fool.
God.
Now I know which minutes I'll be watching.
The thing from season 3 that is
the thing is in
crazy thing that, well, I mean, might as well be. Like the scene from season 3 that is insane is some hot man-on-man action that is both disgusting.
Hush yourself, sir.
Like all man-on-man action, because homosexuality is a sin, of course.
Because it is a sin, affront to God. But also just like, man, that's one thing I really, really appreciate about The Boys. Like, these characters, they hang dong, Like, they are not afraid to hang that dong. And that's good for equality, I approve. It's so funny. DJ, you have to text me when you see it, because it's insane.
I will.
But yeah, Stranger Things is fine. I don't know. Stranger Things is good. The kid not being gay explicitly or whatever they're doing with him. I haven't quite gotten through what we have of season 4 yet, so I don't know where that's left, but I can kind of see where they're going with it. It's tough because he is the least interesting character in the entire group, so he's the one that I could easily forget is in the show. But it's probably because they don't write him anything to do. So this would be something to do, but that won't happen. So
I just can't be convinced after seasons 2 and 3 being so meh that I'll be like, oh yeah, I want more of this.
I know, it's tough.
Hard sell.
It's. I mean, I would say the first episode is pretty good at selling you on what's kind of weird and fun about it. So that is something that if you watch the first one and you're not involved or you're not interested, probably not for you. But yeah, I think it really does go somewhere.
Okay.
What do we have to do next week, fellas?
Well, I thought in the run-up to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I hope will be the worst movie of the year, so I can get one of my predictions right, we were going to put up a Jurassic Park / World-related poll.
Yeah, that was the plan. I think we can still do that. See what people want us to nitpick.
Yeah, or I guess tweet at us if we see something that compels us. We won't listen, although we have been listening with polls. We 3 straight polls of us doing the right thing.
But how much longer can that possibly last? Am I right?
We were this close to doing Cop Shop.
Yeah, I still haven't heard anything about that. I might watch it
it's not a new movie. It's it came out on Peacock at the end of last year. But I was just looking on Peacock what movies they got, because Ambulance was just put on there.
Oh.
And so I was just curious. And then I saw Cop Shop. I'm like, what is this? Gerard Butler. Let's take a look.
It would be really crazy to do a movie from the second worst streaming service.
Hey man, don't make fun of my cock.
Oh God. Speaking of that, does anyone have anything to plug? DJ, do you have anything to plug for the fine people?
Just the regulars. Check out Roses and Rejections. I'll bring up some questions here that we brought up in the poll. If anyone could tweet at Roses and Rejections your favorite ASMR sounds, what ASMR sounds you enjoy, We'd love to hear about that. That was the topic of conversation on the pod. Also,
like
if you
maybe
ever
some of these.
Oh, boy. Some people like him, some people hate him. And also, if you ever took a weird trip based off something you saw on TikTok, I would say check out At Roses Rejections. You can hear what that was all about. And we're also covering Love Struck High, which we're still TBD on because we don't have, we've only watched a handful of the episodes yet. It's also an Amazon Prime show, but we're TBD on that. And then also The Quest. Have you guys heard of this show on Disney Plus?
No.
So it's like a hybrid, scripted, not scripted reality show. So it's like these kids are in a competition that's kind of like Legends of the Hidden Temple, but long form. And it's all high fantasy stuff. And there's elves and centaurs and actors who are in it, but they also have to figure out puzzles and stuff along the way. I think they did it almost 10 years ago on ABC, and it was a dud, but they're bringing it back for Disney Plus, I guess, to see if it could be moderately successful. But we're gonna check that out to see if that's worth watching.
Cool.
So yeah, check that out on the Pop Break TV feed.
What about you, Diggins? Do you have anything to plug?
Just my usuals. You can follow my newsletter, a little perspective.substack.com, and I stream sometimes at twitch.tv/thisisanodname.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I've been doing videos. I got another. I'm really close to being done with the Wolverine one. Probably in a couple days. So probably
can't wait.
It's good. It's very good. I mean, people might disagree, but I think it's good. I think my choice is great. So we will see. But yeah, besides that, I don't think I have too much else. Yeah, that's really it. So look for me on YouTube's.
Alrighty.
So until next week, I've been at Nando Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woohoo!
Bye.